The safety briefing is out the doors you just came in, to the left down the hall, outside the building. The next item was the potential for an executive session, and I believe we've determined that we do not need that this evening, so there'll be no executive session. I need a motion to adopt the amended proposed agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Roll.
Mr. Aldridge?
Aye.
Dr. Stephen O. Wilson?
Aye.
Ms. Iyer?
Aye. We're going to move to public participation. Are there any employee representatives? Any student representatives? Or any parents or public? Okay. We'll move on.
Can I jump in real quick?
Yes.
I got kicked off of Google and then I had to sign back in, so I apologize. So I wasn't caught up. Just real quick, just to full transparency on the agenda as proposed, the changes to the agenda. The one thing that I did want to point out was that I pulled the student activities handbook kind of at the 11th hour. Just I want to see some improvements to it before I bring it to the board. Okay? So that's why that's not on there tonight. So I'll be working with that team and Mrs. Simon on updating that. Yep. Okay.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
So I need a motion to approve the draft minutes from the regular meeting on June 16th, 2025.
So moved.
Second?
Dr. Stephen O. Wilson?
Aye.
Mr. Aldridge?
Aye.
Ms. Iyer?
Aye. Moving to the Board of Education, item A, to approve the Board of Education consent items. I'll need a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Oh,
Do you have
just a couple
some
things. Right?
comments?
Yeah,
Sure.
the consent items. Yeah, just so everybody is aware, a couple policy updates. There was a policy that was adopted after 2 reads at the last meeting around that parent bill of rights, and by adopting that, it then triggered very minor language changes in several of the policies that you see here today, just some link to align with that. My proposal is that we go ahead and just adopt these because you've already adopted the larger policy, which then triggered these minor language changes. The other one is that just as a reminder that while the cell phone policy piece, we are still waiting for the final on that in terms of the ban, but we have moved forward in our handbooks with the ban of the cell phones during instructional time.
Okay.
So just a couple quick updates there.
Thank you.
Yep.
Mr. Aldridge?
Aye.
Dr. Stephen O. Wilson?
Aye.
Ms. Iyer?
Aye. We're going to move to approve the Assistant Superintendent of Personnel and HR consent item A. And before we do, I do have a statement I need to read, and then there can be a discussion if anything needs to be discussed.
Sure.
This is a public notice of reemployment of Daniel Pack. The superintendent recommends approval of the resolution giving public notice for consideration of the reemployment of Daniel Pack. Whereas Daniel Pack retired under the school teacher's retirement system effective May 30th, 2025, and whereas he was last employed by Findlay City Schools at Donnell as a teacher at an annual salary of $98,951.63, and whereas the board wants to consider the possibility of employing Daniel as a math teacher at the high school at a rate equal to Step 5 on the 2025-2026 teacher salary schedule for the 2025-2026 school year, effective August 11th, 2025, at their August 2025 board meeting. And whereas, in accordance with ORC 3307.353, the board must hold a public meeting between 15 and 30 days before reemployment. And whereas the board must give not less than 60 days public notice of such reemployment. The board hereby gives public notice that it will take public comment on such reemployment of this retiree at its regular meeting on July 21st, 2025 at 6 p.m. at the Administration Building, 1100 Broad Avenue, Findlay, Ohio, 45840. So can I get a motion for item A? And
I had a couple things.
do we motion first or
Oh.
discuss?
Yeah, go motion.
Motion
Okay,
first, then
okay.
discuss, my bad.
Okay.
So I need a motion, please,
So moved.
Second.
and discussion.
Thank you, sorry I jumped the gun there. So in terms of that potential reappointment, if the board moves forward, there is a chance that that August 11th date might be pushed back due to the 90 days around this process for a retiree hire. Also in this section, board, I did want you to know that you will see a number of continuing contracts that have been earned. One of the things that I'm very proud about in terms of the work that Krista has done along with our whole team, including the principals, has made sure that that is a rigorous process, because earning a continuing contract is really an honor in the state of Ohio. And in some places it's handled one way, but here it's very much taken very seriously. We walk the professional through the expectations and the criteria. And so when you've earned it, you've really gone through a rigorous process. So those are on there. I wondered if, I don't know, Mrs. Harrington, if you wanted to talk a little bit about.
Our office?
Yeah.
Sure.
Yep.
I would like to, first of all, thank, we have a resignation on here for Caleb Dornbush. Caleb joined us 3 years ago, and he was very unique that he came with a lot of different things. He knew SC View, he had some accounting background, and we were very lucky to get this well-rounded person. He's going to be the next treasurer for North Baltimore. We just wanted to tell him thank you for the time you were here, and to wish him good luck, even though we're kind of sad that he's leaving. We understand. We do want people to, train from me and then go on. And then, Kelly, could you please call up those slides? So I made a couple of little graphs just to kind of show something. I feel very, very happy to announce, and quite frankly, kind of lucky, we're getting a good assistant treasurer. We've had several in the past, but we're getting one that we're hiring, but I wanted to show you our chart. In FY24, this was the outlay and the kind of the flow chart of our office when I was continued from what I came on board with. We'd added a little bit of a payroll extra with Janelle joining us when she's doing the office of substitutes. If you recall, when Wren Hill, when we left them as a purchase service and we came over, we added 280 employees as subs, not every day, but on and off. So she's joined part-time. She doesn't work the month of July, basically. So that was where we were in 24. Go forward to 25 came along, this current year that we're in. So we, in October, we lost our assistant treasurer. In kind of August, September, we had, Kendra was our fiscal specialist. She moved on. And then in June, Linda Starrett had left as our accounts payable of 52 years in the same job. That one was been a little bit tough because she had something we don't have, the history. She could tell you every vendor, pretty much what the history was, when they changed companies, what their new address was. So we're building back. But we did not have those this year, so we aren't closed yet, even though today's the 30th. We still have about 10 hours. No, not that many. But we're getting there. So we were a little bit slim, but I think we did a pretty good job. What we're proposing then, so right now, with Caleb, Caleb's job is the second one to the left. They're the fiscal specialist trainer. He would go around and train everybody on the new software. He's kind of took over paying some of the bills, and we've been kind of having some help with a little bit of whoever could help with paying the bills right now. So our proposal then tonight is to add Kristen Johnson as our assistant treasurer. She comes with just 2 jobs since college. She has 11 years with the state auditor's office and 13 years as an assistant treasurer somewhere else. And her employer did call me several times in the last 3 days, asking, why are you taking her? And I said, well, because we think she's a good one. She lives in Findlay. Her children go here, 5th grade, 7th grade, 9th grade next year. So we are really excited, but she won't be starting till August. So it's a replacement for the one. And I think for now, that's really all we're gonna we're gonna post that and see with her expertise, what we can do. So,
And again, to be clear, so this is a position that's not an ad, it's been unfilled since November of '24.
yes.
Right,
yes.
and it is a critical position to your department, and congratulations on finding
I'm so
such an
excited.
awesome person.
So,
Yeah.
I mean, that's what we're proposing tonight, so.
Couple other comments,
Sure.
Mrs. Iyer. The other thing that the board will notice is that we've got our, quite a few athletic and non-athletic supplementals that are being approved this evening. Just as a reminder, this is a significant reduction in supplemental positions due to the cuts that we are in the position to be making due to the levy failure in November. So we have really trimmed down a lot of the supplementals going into the next fiscal year. And then finally, again, we're sad to see Dennis Doolittle go. Today, I think, was the last day of an esteemed career here in Findlay City Schools in our operations department. But I'm also recommending tonight for Mr. John Kelly, who's here, to become our next director. John's been with us just a shade under 2 years, has done an exemplary job as the assistant director, and is bringing forward some ideas for a new structure in the operations department with one director and kind of some managers for some of those areas such as transportation and custodial maintenance. And we're gonna try a different way forward. It's a cost savings to the district, but also really puts people like boots on the ground in those areas that'll keep him informed on a daily basis of how we're doing. So congratulations and welcome.
Congratulations.
Yep. Well, they gotta vote, but yeah. Yeah,
So roll call. Or any other discussions?
that was all I had, thank you.
Okay, roll
Okay,
call.
Dr. Stephen O. Wilson?
Aye.
Mr. Aldridge?
Aye.
Ms. Iyer?
Aye. Congratulations.
Put your- Now, B.
Item.
Yes, and now I need a motion to approve item B of the Assistant Superintendent of Personnel and HR consent
moved.
item.
Second?
Roll, or any discussion on that?
No, I have no
Okay.
comments.
Mr. Aldridge?
Aye.
Dr. Stephen O. Wilson?
Aye.
Ms. Iyer?
Abstain.
I don't have your names, I have to.
Okay, we will move on to the assistant, to approve the Assistant Superintendent of Teaching and Learning consent items. Could I have a motion
So moved.
Second.
and discussion?
Just what you'll see here are the beginnings of, prep for the upcoming year when we take a look at BLT meetings, science of reading professional development, of course, and then safety care initial training for some folks that we want to be out ahead so that they are certified going into that first day of school.
Okay, any further? Okay, roll call.
Dr. Stephen O. Wilson?
Aye.
Mr. Aldridge?
Aye.
Ms. Iyer?
Aye. And we will move into a motion to approve the treasurer CFO financial items.
So moved.
Second.
It's hard with only two. So
Ma'am?
tonight, we have a Student Wellness and Success and Disadvantagement Pupil Impact Aid. It's a routine that we have to go through that every year and make sure that the board's aware that we do provide these services. It's part of our foundation, and Mrs. Run does a great job of tracking this, and just wanted to make sure that we had it on before June 30. We will be continuing to give you more updates on this as it unfolds. And then the second item, one thing we do want to talk about is today's kind of an exciting day, but maybe now it's going to be tomorrow because it's getting pretty late. We're all anxiously awaiting the governor's decision on the budget. We are very grateful and thankful of all the hard work people have put into this, because I do know that it's not an easy task, and there's a lot of time away from your families, and that we can all relate to that, that it's, it's a big job, and it's, their hard work doesn't go unnoticed. So hopefully tomorrow we'll get an announcement of what's going to be line item, if any, vetoes. There could be many, there could be not very many. We were so hoping that we would have it tonight. But right now, it looks like some of the early simulations will be down a little, even though they said we weren't going to be, but the amount that we have done, we're down a little bit, not tremendous, like 400,000 next year and 6 the year after. So that's not, any losses, you know, is important. But more importantly, I think we have to just hurry up and wait. We have to see what it's gonna be, and not really hard, it's hard to guess, right? So then the other thing that we typically do the last day of the fiscal year, which is today, we are projecting to end pretty darn close to what we said in our May update. As you know, our May update from our November update was a little bit different because of our real estate differences, which we'll go into more detail when we have our final report in July. So, but tonight I did pass out to the board, and it is in the drive, our final appropriations and our final amended certificate. What those are, and I know we go so fast usually, it's hard for people to understand, but our final appropriations are what do we think our last few bills in the next few hours are gonna be and have been out this whole year versus what our revenue is bringing in. And again, we're not too far off. We watch it, we've been running it every day and sharing with the board members in a drive so that they can see where we're gonna end, as it's so important, still with our cuts of the, you know, the 6 million. So I'm just asking for approval of these final ones, and was so hoping to have the budget, but
Can I throw in a couple comments?
you sure can.
Okay, so, as you know, as Mrs. Harrington just shared, that we are still waiting the final, you know, if the governor's gonna line item anything in these final hours. There are some things in there that are still concerning to us in terms of the impact to a superintendent, treasurer, or head principal's compensation package, which could impact their retirement. We're gonna wait to really discuss that, but we might need some solutions around that, should that move forward. Because it's really, what it does, the way the law is written now, if it's not line itemed, is the benefit of that pickup on the pickup would be, boards of education would not be able to do that for those 3 positions. So we'll have some thinking to do there. And then I'll reserve any comment on all of the rest until we know what's gonna be there. One item that is, in terms of fiscal, that is still lingering out there is House Bill 335, which I know that our board is read up on. We know that our mayor has given testimony against House Bill 335. We know that the organizations around for police and fire in the state of Ohio have been very vocal about being against House Bill 335 because it would eliminate inside millage. And if that were to go through, it would be really catastrophic to public education in the state of Ohio. It would be a loss of about $2 billion to the state's 600-plus school districts. Here locally, if inside millage were eliminated, Mrs. Harrington, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe that is about $6.2 million for us.
Yep.
And again, the mayor has shared,
Unfathomable.
the mayor shared this in the Senate committee testimony, but we are asking, you know, anyone listening, and I know the board's already been advocating, to keep monitoring House Bill 335 and be against it. And what we want to do, as we will continue to do, is advocate for fair school funding for our students in the state of Ohio and here in Findlay City Schools. So we're just keeping a very close eye on House Bill 335. Thanks, Mrs. Harrington.
Yep.
Okay.
So do you have any
Further?
questions, or save them for July? Okay.
Okay.
Dr. Stephen O. Wilson?
Aye.
Mr. Aldridge?
Aye.
Ms. Sire?
Aye. Okay. I need a motion to adjourn the meeting.
So moved.
Second?
Okay. Mr. Aldridge?
Aye.
Dr. Stephen O. Wilson?
Aye.
Ms. Sire?
Aye.